You have just created a cool game with Pygame and Todd. It would be great if I could play it on my smartphone, or maybe publish it on the Play Store and reach a greater audience. With the PyGame library, you can make your games run on the web, which also works on the cell phone, but not as a standalone application. For this we need a library like Buildozer, which can be used to make APKs and AABs for Android. Buildozer itself works only on Linux or Mac. So on Windows you need to use a virtual machine or WSL, the Windows subsystem for Linux. Of course, you can also install Linux on the hard drive and dual boot or even replace Windows. But I found it easier to use VirtualBox, which I already had installed here to test some distros. And the distro I chose for this project was Lubuntu, a lighter version of Ubuntu, version 2004, which is a bit smaller, but newer versions should work just as well. So I installed it in a virtual machine with 25 gigs of hard drive, 2 gigs of RAM, and 2 cores. The hard drive maybe should be increased a bit, because Buildozer projects take a good chunk of storage. The first step is to update the system, which can be done from the dialog box that appears automatically or from the terminal with the commands sudo apt update and sudo apt upgrade. After that, I installed the VirtualBox drivers to enable clipboard sharing and screen resizing. For that, insert the VirtualBox guest disk and install the script for Linux. And I had to restart the system for the changes to take effect. Now we can start configuring Buildozer, following the steps indicated in the docs. First, installing some necessary programs and libraries, such as Java and pip. And with pip we need to install Cython and venv. Also we need to add this line to the hidden file bashrc, which resides inside the home folder. Ready, now we can start our first application project. I will create a folder here, which, if I'm not mistaken, must not have any special characters in the name. I created this program which displays the head of the Pygame mascot on the screen with a random color that changes every time I click on the screen. One part that we have to be careful on Android is the path to the files. I created this path constant that is set to the absolute path of the current folder, which is then added to the beginning of each file loaded. We also have to add the file to the project folder. To start building the app, we open a terminal in the folder and run the command buildozer init. I actually forgot to install the Buildozer library itself. So now we can run the command buildozer init, which will generate a Buildozer spec file, where we need to add requirements for Pygame to work on Android. The requirements are Python 3, Pygame, Genius, SDL2, SGL2 image, SGL2 mixer, SGL2 TTF, PNG and JPEG. Then we just run buildozer v android debug to generate an APK file. The first time it takes a long time to build the application. In the meantime, you can go and grab a coffee, and if all goes well, the APK will appear on the bin folder, which you can copy manually and install on your Android. If all went well, you will have this app working on your cell phone. But a more interesting way to do this transfer is to connect your phone to the PC and pass it to the virtual machine and add deploy run to the buildozer command. The phone must have developer mode enabled, and in the first time you try to transfer the file, you have to give it permission. If you are having trouble and your application is crashing, you can add logcat to the end of the previous command, so the error messages will appear on the terminal. One thing you may have noticed is that the application resolution is different from the one we set on Pygame. To solve this, we have to use the flags scaled and full screen when setting the screen size in Pygame, which will automatically adjust the resolution since each phone has a different one. Now that we have the basic application, we can work a bit on the customization. In the spec file, there's a title parameter that defines the name of the application. Here I would say to be careful with some characters. I had problems with single quotes, for example, which have to be escaped. By the way, even for the names of files that are loaded into the game, it is good practice to avoid special characters. The parameter package name is an internal name for the application, and package domain refers to your company or something like that. To change the image that appears while the app is loading, you have the parameter pre-splash file name, and for the application icon you have the icon file name. With orientation you can set whether your app should open in portrait or landscape mode. After you have configured your application and made the necessary tests to see if it is working properly, you may want to publish your game on the Play Store. For this you need to register, pay a fee and answer some questionnaires that I won't go into detail here. But an important thing is that the app format for the Play Store is a bit different. It is no longer APK as it used to be. It is now AAB or App Bundle. You can also create AAB files with Buildozer, replacing the bug from the previous command with release. But before uploading to the Play Store, you still need to sign the AAB file with an upload key. To create a key, you have this command here, where you define the name of the key and an alias and fill some information and define a password for the key. Then, with the key file in the same location as the AAB file, you sign it with this other command. And now we are ready. Now just create a release in the Play Store and upload the signed app. This is exactly how I made the Android version of my games, Dirty Das and Lockpicking Enjoyer Pro, a more advanced version of the game I had made with Unity some time ago. Now I have two options to share my projects. First, the web version, which I still find sensational because you don't need to install anything. You only need access to a browser with internet, and it even works reasonably well on a smartphone. Now with the application for Android, the game is available all the time and has a slightly better performance. My idea is to leave the games free of charge on the web version and with a symbolic price for some games on Android, so that whoever wants to support my work also has this option. But that's it. I hope this video was useful or at least interesting for you. If you have any questions, you can ask them in the comments below and I can try to help. Thanks for watching and I see you in the next video.